Are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hey y'all, welcome to Conroe Culture News. If you don't recognize me and wonder where Margie is, she is in an RV living life and taking a much needed and well-deserved vacation with her hubby and her dogs to celebrate her 10 years of tailored PR. Margie has asked me to come on here and guest host for her, and I am so honored. So Margie, if you're listening, thank you for trusting me. So welcome to Conroe Culture News. And we are on Lone Star Community Radio, FM 104.5 and 106.1. This show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic. She's at 3303 West Davis. Roger Stein's Chiropractic has been voted Best Chiropractic Center in Montgomery County for 4 consecutive years. There at Roger Stein Chiropractic, they treat patients of all ages and backgrounds, from infants to seniors, and weekend athletes to professionals. They focus on a natural, holistic approach to not only relieve pain, but also achieve optimal health. Dr. Stacy Rogers holds certifications in adjusting extremities, arms, legs, hands, feet, etc., clinical nutrition, and prenatal and pediatric care. She offers her new patients, they give $37 donated to CASA. That's the only cost for your first visit. We actually had CASA on here when I was first co-hosting with Margie. It's an amazing organization doing a lot of stuff in the community, so that's pretty cool. So welcome to the show. We are going to share a little bit about some of the upcoming events that we have. It's actually coming up soon. There's Get Back to Work Day, sponsored by the Chamber. That's Friday, August 9th. And the last time I looked, you need to go to conroe.org for the updates, but it looks like they had some openings they needed to fill at the MISD, that's the district office, Montgomery Junior High, Creekside Elementary, Keenan Elementary, and Maidley Ranch Elementary. So if you have some time and some hands and feet that you can go take over there to help, it will be very much appreciated. We want to show our teachers and staff that we appreciate all the hard work they do, and it really just helps, being involved in a community for back to school. So my first guest is Carrie Bigford. She does outreach for Texans for Vaccine Choice. And welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jess. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us, Carrie. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to just have you share a little bit. You are a local resident.
I am.
Yes. And so you actually moved from California.
I moved from California, then to Colorado, then to Texas.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Colorado in between there. So how long have you been living here?
In Texas since 2020.
Yes.
We moved during the middle of the lockdowns.
Oh, wow. I bet that was interesting. So, yeah. So you've been here for 4 years now. Mm-hmm. Were you involved with this organization before that, or when did you join?
So I have been an advocate for medical liberty for over 2 decades, but I didn't join Texans for Vaccine Choice until I moved to Texas shortly after arriving here in 2020.
Okay. And can you share for those that are watching or listening who are not familiar, I think there can be a lot of misconceptions about maybe just in the name of your organization. I face that with different things on Mama Bears Rising. So can you just share a little bit about what you are and what you do and what, a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Well, we are Texans for Vaccine Choice, and we are here and have been here since 2015 to advance and protect your medical liberty rights, which are informed consent, medical privacy, and vaccine choice. We are absolutely here not to tell you what to do, but to provide a framework for you to understand why you're saying yes or why you're saying no, and to make sure that the government never has the right to decide on your behalf.
Okay. And I think that's something that is often mistaken. Like I said, for being informed is not making it one way or another, but just having the information, because it can be overwhelming. Any topic. You take any topic, right?
Yes.
New mom, or, my kids are in another season of life. What school do I go to? How do I educate? A job? What do I want to do as a career or college? So it can be so overwhelming. So to have a resource that's there and can give you the information is so helpful.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming as a new parent. I mean, we start vaccinating in the United States on the first day of life. We do 36 vaccines in the first year of life, which is a lot more than some of the adults have had in their entire lives. And it's important to understand why you're saying yes or why you're saying no. And just like our name implies, we are Texans for Vaccine Choice. And we're not here to tell anyone what to do. We're here to make sure that your voice in the conversation of you is never silenced. Our website, our resources page, has tremendous amounts of information to help you become convicted on yes or no. I mean, it's wonderful evidence-based information.
Yes, and that's something too that I try to advocate for, is being able to have that responsibility for ourselves, because at the end of the day, we can't abdicate that to anyone else, and we know what we need best. And then if we're able to make an informed decision, then we can feel comfortable and confident in that. And something that I've learned as I move through life, we've shared before, I feel like sometimes I've had 6 lifetimes. You might change, right? Like you might change things. You might feel one way about something and then it might change, and that's okay. So I think just being informed and having that information is important.
All of that is true. But it's also with vaccination. Vaccination program is unique in the sense that the vaccine recipient themselves is the least legally and physically protected person in the process. Everyone but you, the vaccine recipient, has liability protections. So if something goes sideways, not to say that it will, but all medical interventions carry some form of risk, including vaccination. And if you are someone who gets injured, or if your child gets injured, you are 100% responsible for that injury. And they are not required to let you know all of the risks. It's a very different situation than other things. And when you, the vaccine recipient, are the one who owns all the legal and physical risk, you should also be able to make that choice free of coercion. And that's what we're all about here at TFVC.
And is that something, if we go to your site, that you'll be able to see those things that you mentioned, the legal or the different, I guess you would say, resources?
Yeah.
And what about like the different, I would assume, I know we shouldn't assume, but I would think maybe that it would have the government sites as well. Is that
so?
How does
Everything
that work?
on our website that we distribute is cited and sourced. So we don't link directly to the government websites, but the sources of our information are clearly posted everywhere, all over the site.
Okay.
Also, Texas has wonderful exemption laws. Texas really is safeguarding your voice in the conversation of you and making sure that you get to decide if, when, or how many vaccines you receive.
Okay, and that's something too that we can talk about a little bit, because it is back to school time. I was going to Body 20. I was sharing with you earlier that I work out there, and I didn't realize that school was in, maybe for the Woodlands, I think, because there was school zones and different, I saw the athletic kids, out there. And so I said, okay, it's that time of year again. So can you share a little bit about, that's something that I get a lot of questions from. Is that, like, what is, if you can just go to the law that's in place right now, can you share a little bit about that? So for those that don't know, the law that are on the books right now.
Well, there's no such thing as a required vaccine to attend public school in Texas. So that's something to understand. But there's different types of schools and there's different levels of exemptions. So if you have a young child who's in a licensed pre-care or daycare center, preschool or daycare, and they are licensed by the state, they are legally compelled to accept the affidavit of exemptions. If you have a K through 12 student going to a public school who receives even $1 of state education money, that school also must accept the affidavit of exemption. If you are seeing your child to a K through 12 private school that is 100% privately funded, that school is allowed to make their own immunization policy. They don't have to take the exemptions, but that's less than 1% of schools in Texas. Texas. And if your child or yourself are attending any level of higher education, trade school, 2-year school, 4-year school, whatever, they also must accept the affidavit of exemption. We have wonderful legal exemption rights for parents and individuals in Texas.
Okay, and then, and like you said, that is Texas. I know, obviously, different states are different, but I think it's a good starting point for those living in Texas. I have several friends whose children have graduated and they're going out of state. So then that would be dependent on the university or the school that they'll be attending, of course. Yes. And then what is something that's another thing. We have so many things as parents. You've already, how am I going to educate my child? Where is he or she going? A lot of people may have moved here. They're in a new school district. So I think taking a little bit of that overwhelm away and at least giving at least they know that they have that resource is really important. I know that I've heard, I think this might be something that people are still not sure about. There's different types. It's a medical or a conscientious. So does it have to be that in Texas, either one of those?
So Texas has 2 exemptions. We have the affidavit of conscientious belief exemption, which is the religious and philosophical rolled up into one form. And you order that form on the DISH's website. There are links on the Texans for Vaccine Choice website directly to that. And you request the forms from the government, and you fill them out, get them notarized, and turn them into your school that is requesting them, and then they stay on campus with the school. I usually request mine back every 2 years. Okay. A medical exemption is something different that doesn't require the DISH's form, and that is done between a patient or a patient's parent and their doctor, and that is a letter that your doctor writes letting them know this is why I'm exempting this child due to medical reasons. And exemptions, affidavit of exemption for conscientious belief, you renew every 2 years. Okay. And medical exemptions must be renewed annually. So they're different that way too.
Okay. And then can you share for those who aren't familiar, what is DISH's? What is that?
So DISH's is the Department of Health and Safety. Okay. It's our Texas State Health Department.
Okay. And that's something too that, my children are already, now my oldest is 20. I have a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old. She will be going to school as a sophomore here. And so thinking back to when they were little, my goodness, like it's so many different things that we're going through and different things like that. But those are all things that, looking back, you have all these things as a parent. One, you're pregnant, then you have a child, and then when they come to school, it's just all these different things. But it's like you don't know what you don't know until you're in that situation. Yeah. So I think the more resources that we can have, the better, to kind of take some of that overwhelm away, and then let us decide, which direction we're going to go, whether that's one thing about Texas. I know we have the option to do public, homeschool, private school, charter schools. There's so many great options. And there's a lot of things to think about. So then if you can look at it that way and make the best decision for your family.
Well, also, it's important to recognize the vaccine schedule has grown exponentially, even since you and I were children. I mean, we're just at the end of our childbearing age, and yet my children are recommended to receive 81 doses of vaccines by the time they're 18, whereas I was only recommended to have like 18 to 20. So that's in a single generation. There's just a lot more available now, and as we continue to increase the schedule, the likelihood of a parent coming across a vaccine that just doesn't fit their family gets higher and higher. In the same way that you can see so many different pharmaceutical ads on the television, and you listen to the ones that apply to you and you disregard the ones that don't. As they add more vaccines to the schedule, exemptions play a more key part, because the likelihood of you wanting to decline goes up as they add more and more vaccines that may or may not be beneficial to your individual family or lifestyle.
And is there a certain site or something, maybe this is more and we can share the link for those who want to go on there, that would say, okay, here's different information on the different, is that kind of what it is? I'm just trying to figure out if I go there, maybe
to
if
the
I'm
website?
like, yes, if I go to the website and I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to do this, or either way, right? I've already made my decision, but then maybe I want to know a little bit more. Is it more broken up to here's some things to consider, or here's some websites on more of the specific each vaccine by name and how they maybe like counteract? Or I'm kind of just guessing here, but like if I have a child that has these certain things, maybe he or she may interact with this one. Is that kind of what's there?
So we don't have a full list of ingredients on the site. We have sources where you can look that up. But we have the excipient list, which are the actual ingredients directly from the CDC. It's a direct link to do that.
Okay.
So you can find that. It's important to understand what's in it because, again, the vaccine recipient themselves owns all the legal and physical risk.
Right.
And as long as that's true, it's very important to just use your own informed consent. Because without it, like that is your only liability protection in the case of vaccination program. And, you know, just like before, in the lockdowns, we experienced something unheard of before, which were mandates for adults. Yes. And so as we look at children facing discrimination and issues for declining one or more vaccines, right, even something that's non-communicable, you know, we have adults now that are being denied or were denied employment access. And so here in Texas, we fought legislation and we got legislation passed to protect people from COVID mandates. But we also need to make sure that forevermore in Texas, we never tie someone's ability to provide for themselves and have a livelihood to their vaccine status.
And so maybe that's something as well, like you were saying, that we, you know, me being, you know, in my 40s, I haven't really since college had to think about these things.
Right.
And so that's another thing I think that would be great as a resource just for that person that's wanting to learn more to be able to go on there. And so we covered the school age children and then adults. Something too, I have several friends actually, who've had babies in the last couple of years. So that might be another resource too if you are pregnant or looking for those things and just want some more information or starting. It sounds like it's a really great
starting point.
Yes.
And we have a wonderful new parent informed consent gift bundle that you can send either with your name attached or anonymously to your loved one. That is adorable. It comes with a cute little onesie, a little children's book. It comes with all the evidence that you need to complete our informed consent flowchart, which is a completely non-biased informed consent flowchart, just like it sounds, that helps you decide if, when, or how many vaccines you receive. And you can get that and a cute little handwritten note sent to your loved one. The feedback from the community has been that it really helps them begin to do the research to understand why they're going to say yes or why they're going to say no. But it does not tell you to say yes or no, which I really appreciate.
Yes, I think that's so important in those conversations. But I want to touch a little bit on, because it can be a heated topic, and you have been with your background as all the things, right? The counseling and all those great things. It's given you a lot of skills and tools to use in these types of difficult conversations. So can you share a little bit for those who, whether it's this or speaking with your spouse, you know, on something that's a difficult topic. I know you're really great at outreach, not confrontation. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about just some things that the listeners or the people watching can use, whether it's this or any conversation. As a community, and I know at Lone Star Radio as well, they're really big with the community. It's just important that we are respectful, you know,
Absolutely.
And we know that we're going to, it takes everyone in the community to be working together. And so anything that we can do to help build bridges, like you said, regardless of those different types of relationship is helpful. So can you share a little bit of what you utilize in your community outreach approach?
Yeah, so I am the outreach director, which means I'm blessed with building and training our incredible army of grassroots activists. And we start with a definition of what makes outreach effective. And we've defined that as an encounter that leaves that person feeling as though they were treated well with something evidence-based to bring them closer to your side of the argument, all right? And it's so important to be conscientious with the approach that you take when you're doing outreach, because this topic in particular, vaccine choice or medical liberty, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely a polarized, politicized, and very often emotionally fueled topic. And so it's good to use an approach that minimizes defensiveness. And so we have an incredible training program to help you step by step do this with anyone you choose to. But the 4 basic steps of effective outreach are prepare, connect, inform, and allow. With step 1, you prepare, which means you get yourself ready. You get yourself in the head space and the heart space to allow yourself to step aside and have that person and their concerns be forefront in your discussion. Then you connect, which means you connect with that person and that person begins to be willing to hear it from you, right? They begin to trust you, a rapport begins to be built, and then you inform them. Very specifically, something that's evidence-based and objective reality. Your opinion, however valuable it may be, is not an advocacy point.
That's the tricky part, right? A lot of us want to put our opinions in.
Yes, but your opinion is not an advocacy point. Neither
right.
are your choices.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? So you can decide however you want, but that does not and should not affect your ability to reach out to others. You're allowed your individual choice, they're allowed their individual choice, and they don't have to match, which is why the fourth step, after you've prepared, after you've connected, after you've informed, is allow. You allow that person to make their own decision. You let sure that they know what their legal rights are. You make sure that they know, some of the evidence that may concern them as a potential vaccine recipient. But you let go entirely of the need to push them and control their choice. It's very important to allow your loved one on any topic to have their own opinion and frame of reference.
Yeah, I love that because, like we said, there's so many things, and I think it's only going to be more so in the future that so many things are politicized and polarized, from how do you educate your child to your medical choices to how you live your family or your marriage and all these things.
Right.
And so it's important to understand how to communicate effectively and with love and respect.
Absolutely.
And the more you can do that regardless of the situation, I think it's the better it is. So
outreach is not confrontation seeking. It is a bridge building activity where you are caring enough about that other person to give them the information that they need with love and truth, and also have the space for them to have their own thought processes, their own feelings, and their own decisions.
And then also, to your point, if it doesn't end up being the same as yours, you don't have to sever the relationship.
Absolutely not.
Whatever that is. I mean, obviously, if it's maybe a marriage or something like that, you might have to do some more counseling and different things. But for most things, that doesn't have to end in that type of way.
Nor should it. One of the big goals of the method of outreach that we, propagate at TFVC is bridge building. Being afraid of causing harm to your relationship is a big barrier in doing outreach of all types.
Yeah.
And so we go all in on teaching our team effective ways to articulate their position to someone that they love in a way that doesn't harm their relationship and actually creates opportunities for that relationship to become closer.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. Is there anything that you want to share maybe that y'all have going on, or?
I mean, we're a very busy organization. Yeah. We always have a lot going on, lots of community events, lots of non-public events within government sectors and whatnot. Right now, we have a wonderful dinner social coming to the Houston region this Wednesday down in Sugar Land, a little bit south from here. But it's a wonderful dinner social. You can always check out our public events at TexansForVaccineChoice.com. We have an incredible podcast, Shot Callers, with some amazing guests. We just had Aaron Seary, an incredible medical liberty attorney with lots and lots of very valid information to share. You can always volunteer by going to our website and join our team. We onboard continuously. We really do support you and your ability to make a difference at Texans for Vaccine Choice. You can also, we are a grassroots donor-funded organization, so we are always so thankful for anyone who can set up a donation and help fund our work.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Carrie, and I look forward to checking out the site and seeing what all is on there.
Thank you so much for having me today, Jess.
We want to say thank you again to our sponsor, Roger Stein Chiropractic. Thank you so much for your support, and be sure that you tune in to Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com, and FM 104.5 and 106.1. We'll see you next time.
Hey there, Conroe. This is Andrew from the Audience of One show that airs Wednesdays at 10 a.m. right here on KZCC 106.1 and 104.5 FM. Make sure to tune in and keep it on for community radio's version of a slow motion train wreck. You will hear our take on some of the world's oddest news, our mind droppings, and general banter from your favorite radio friends, me and Dick Schisler. We are also available on all of your favorite podcasting platforms.
Conroe Culture News is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic. Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers, has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County for lower back pain, migraines, whiplash, sciatica, sports injuries, herniated discs, headaches, and complications from pregnancy. For more information about today's sponsor, Roger Stein Chiropractic, they can be called at 936-441-9990 or go online to rogersteinchiropractic.com. New patients pay only $37 with all proceeds.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Path to the Plate is a research-based education program that helps consumers understand how their food choices impact their health by making the connection to agriculture. Learning about how food is grown and produced, and how consumers can make better food choices for themselves and their families, Path to the Plate is all about dispelling myths and misconceptions. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
We have the safest food supply in the world. Strict laws and regulations restrict the usage of hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides within our food supply. Production agriculture practices and technologies such as the use of GMOs, which is not any more or less risky than conventional crop production, has allowed American farmers to produce more food on less acres in environmentally sound ways. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make lives better.
All right, welcome back. I said see y'all soon. It was really soon. We are back at Conroe Culture News, sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic. And our second guest is Jennifer Rubino. She is with BODYBAR Pilates in Woodforest. Welcome, Jennifer. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Jen, for being here. So Jen and I are good friends. She opened up BODYBAR in January of this year. And so I wanted you to share a little bit about BODYBAR. Yes, you're Pilates, but you're really unique in that community is a really big piece of what y'all do.
Yes.
You've shared with me several times on many occasions, and I've witnessed it, the impact that you're having in people's lives. So it's so much more than just a place to come embrace the shake, as you say, but really growing in the community and affecting people's lives. So can you share a little bit for those who don't know what BODYBAR Pilates is, and then a little bit about how you got started?
Sure. BODYBAR Pilates is reformer style Pilates. However, we opened it with the intention of getting some exercise, moving, but when we looked at areas to open, we opened in Woodforest, and we opened in Pine Market. We opened right on the green. So we opened in a prominent location, one where we could pull everybody from the Woodlands, from Conroe, from Montgomery, from Magnolia, a place for people to meet. not only come to Pilates, but go have coffee after, sit on the green, sit on the park. And what we have witnessed over the last 6 months literally brings me to tears almost every single day. People have met new friends. Ladies have found besties that now they come to Pilates with. They have found business partners. They have met their goals. Every time somebody comes in, their bodies just change. And people have written reviews and have literally come up to me and said, "You have changed my life."
Wow, yeah.
And to me, I think it's awe-inspiring because this place has changed my life and my perspective on health and wellness. And why I did it was for one reason, and now it is like morphed into something unbelievable.
Yes, and I'm so honored that I've been able to witness that as your friend, but also as a member there. And to think that just a couple of years ago, your life looked very different. And like we like to say on here, it's not better or worse, but everyone has specific things that they want to do. And so you went from working at home in your home office all day long indoors to now out in the community. And so where would you say, what would you say was really that turning point that why Pilates? Because you weren't doing anything remotely related to that. So what even made you want to do something that was health and wellness?
That's interesting. Well, when I was out in sales and I traveled for work, I did, I traveled a lot for work. And then when 2020 came, I got stuck into sitting at my desk. And I sat at my desk and worked for 15 hours a day. I got to where I would only walk about 1,000 steps a day. Literally, my feet were starting to turn purple.
Yes,
my toes were starting to turn purple. I had gained like 60 pounds. I had no energy. I was depressed. And it wasn't that I ate terribly, it's that I just didn't move. And my stress levels were extremely high. And I had said, enough of this. I needed to do something. And I've always been in athletics. I've always played tennis. I've played golf. I trained for a triathlon and I ran and however, I've had 2 hip replacements. And so I really needed a workout that can strengthen my hips. My daughter had invited me to a Pilates class down in the Heights.
Okay.
And I went to this Pilates class with her in the Heights. And I walked out of there going, "Oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever done." It was eye-opening. I had no idea what it was. I said, "Is it kind of like yoga?" And no, it wasn't like yoga at all. There's there's a little stretching, but not too much. But it was kind of fun. It was very childish, but my whole body hurt. And I quickly came home. I started looking for other places that I could do Pilates. They were all very, very backlogged. I couldn't seem to get into a class for 3 months. I was like, this isn't acceptable. And I quickly went on a journey to say, obviously, there's a demand for it. Yes. Our community needs one. And so I decided to go on my journey to find the perfect partner to help me open a Pilates studio. And I wasn't really wanting just any type of Pilates. I wanted one that fit my lifestyle and my beliefs. BODYBAR really fit that. The franchisor of BODYBAR, they are compassionate. They are all built on community. The bar in BODYBAR stands for balanced, athletic, and real community. I opened this franchise with my daughter, my mother, and my sister. So we say we're the duo, the mother-daughter duo. However, there are 2 more. There is my mother as well as my sister, who kind of just stay in the background, but my daughter and I run BODYBAR, and it's just so much fun. It's amazing.
Yes, I love that. And that's something I know that there is something called BAR, BARRE. So this is not that. It's Body Bar, BAR, and Pilates. But you're right. I've done a lot of different fitness things. I'm a holistic health coach. I've been a intermittent fasting coach, fitness and trainer. And when I went to the first class, every part of my body, I could feel it.
Yes.
From the arch of my feet to my toes to all over. And so it really brings out any imbalances that you have. And something that I think is important for people to know if they're not familiar with it, you don't have to, it's not high cardio or anything like that, but that reformer class is like, oh my goodness. And you also have a variety of classes. I think I've tried all of them but jump. Can you share a little bit for those listening or watching who might have one vision of Pilates in their mind? And I'm going to tell you, that chair is killer. Like, did the chair and it was amazing. So can you share a little bit about the different types of classes and see where they fit in?
Absolutely. So we do have 7 different class formats. You don't have to start at one level and graduate to another level. We meet you where you are today, and we challenge you just to be 1% better tomorrow. Obviously, your first class, you're going to come in. You're not going to get everything perfect. That's okay. You will slowly learn that reformer, how to get around the reformer, and how to start learning those moves. Our number 1 class is our classic class. They're all 50. We have 50-minute classes. We work an upper body, a lower body, and a core block. So it is all, the differences that we have is we are powered by Pilates. We say we're modern Pilates because we're powered by Pilates with a modern twist. So what that means is we work time under tension. So we work the right side of your body, then we work the left side of your body. We do supersets, and we also do intensifications. So that intensifications is just going to give you just a little bit of a burn and a little bit of a push, and challenge you a little bit more. We also add in a fitness block, and that is in our reformer class. Our reformer class is a little bit stepped up with a little bit higher of intensity. So that, for example, we would be standing on the reformer. You would be doing more lunges where you're really having to engage your core for that stability. We have to take a step down from your classic class would be a power tower class, which is more of a mat Pilates. When we're never on the floor, we insert a mat into our reformer, and then we use the tower, which are our single spring loads, in order to facilitate that tension. Taking it even up a notch, we have our jump class, which is our reformer jump. We insert a mat at a jump board at the very end of that reformer, and you are getting a cardio component on that jump board. But you are lying supine. So it is low impact on your knees, on your hips. You're not having to really worry about having high impact or, pressure on your joints. Then we do have our mixed equipment, which includes the chair. And the chair is, now we're taking, it's almost just like a reformer, but now the top of it, the where you are trying to balance is very small. The spring tensions are a little bit higher. It is a very, very challenging workout. However, it's very interesting. It is our number 2 most favorite class, even for some of the beginners.
Yes, and I actually have tried the jump class with Tita now that you described it a little bit. And that's something that I think is great too. Anything can be modified. You are very good about going throughout the class and asking for modifications if you want more, if you want less. So it's not something that, like a lot of things that I've tried, that aren't really a good fit if you're injured, if you have certain things, like you said, hip replacements, knee, back issues.
Yes.
It really is something that can be modified to you, to work for you. And I want to go back to, again, that community piece, because I know you have, I just saw Love Hills Youth, you had a sign out there. You're doing a clothing drive. Can you share a little bit about that for people who want to maybe check you out and can go drop off some things there?
Please. Love Hills Youth is a nonprofit, and August 17th is Nonprofit Day. So three of our members, it is a mother, a daughter, and a granddaughter, 3 generations, come to classes every single day. And it is so fun to see 3 generations in one class. They are the owners of Love Hills Youth. Yeah. Love Hills Youth is a nonprofit that donates clothes and goods to help foster kids. So they have a little trailer, and they take this trailer to foster kids, and it is set up like a store. They can come in and shop and have the sensation of shopping just like you would if you were going to a store. Yeah. And so what we are doing is anybody who brings their clothes, everybody's bodies are changing. All of their clothes are big. So we're telling all of our members, bring your clothes. Come donate your clothes. If you are not a member, please drop off your gently used clothes to the BODYBAR. We are donating everything to Love Hills Youth. They are bringing the trailer on August 17th, and we will be giving all of these clothes to Love Hills Youth. Anybody who brings clothes, we're giving them $10 in our gift store, in our boutique, so they can turn around and buy other clothes that fit them. Yeah. And then we are donating 10% of all of our proceeds from our boutique to Love Hills Youth.
Okay, and so that's going on through the 17th?
Through the entire month of August. However, they are going to be on site on the 17th.
And then something you've done as well, you're really good about bringing in your members in the community, supporting their businesses first. You did a health and wellness series, which will be wrapping up. I was a speaker a few times on that and sharing. And then also just really promoting when you have things, you start within your community first with members. You have something coming up. It's on the 14th, I believe, right? You're going to have a live DJ there.
Oh, yes.
Some fun stuff.
We're just ending our challenge. We had our summer challenge where everybody got to choose whatever your challenge may be. If you say you had to do a minimum of 15 classes, some people were really zealous and did 50 classes. It was amazing to see. We are having our wrap-up party on the 14th of August. We will be doing our drawing for our final challenge goers, and they will be receiving 1 month free membership. But to do that, we wanted to make it big and make it fun. We're bringing in a DJ for the 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. classes. So we're going to have a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, and you can do your first class for free. You go in and you can go and tell them Jess sent you. Jess Brazzi does sit you there, try a class. And I think that's important to know. Go in, try it out, and you would suggest starting with a classic, right, if you've never done it. Mm-hmm. So you can go in, try that, and you also can do a la carte classes, correct? Yes. So I know a lot of people say either they're out of town or they're working different times, so you can do the a la carte classes. Can you share a little bit about just some of the offers for those who might be wondering if it fits in their schedule?
Absolutely. So we have classes that start at 5 a.m. You can come join my class at 5 a.m. I'm there 5, 6, and 7 a.m.
It really works your brain because it's like move the springs, move this, so you get your brain working and all
at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we start at 5 a.m. We go until noon. Then we take a little break, clean that studio, and we're back at 5 p.m. till 8 o'clock. So we do have a time slot for everybody. We have multiple ways that you could be a member. We have multiple memberships. We have an unlimited membership. We have 2 times a month. We have 4 times a month. And then we do have class packs. So if you live a little bit further, I know it is a little bit, sometimes where I live up in Bedwater, so it takes a 30-minute drive. Sometimes if that is undoable, a class pack would be great. So you can buy them and get a discount from that single credit. You can buy a single credit, which is $32, or you can buy a class pack and it can go all the way down to $25.
Okay, and then one of my daughters was in your junior athletic program this summer, so that was really neat.
She did fantastic, Jess.
Yes, so thank you. And you also have supported, I know last year and I think maybe this year too, the local schools cheer team. Was that Lake Creek?
Lake Creek cheer team,
Yeah.
Montgomery Bells. We also support the Woodforest swim team.
Okay.
So we supported them. We do support a lot of kids' athletic groups, and you know,
the firefighters.
We had our Montgomery County Fire Department came in and took a class. That was a lot of fun to watch them do it. The first thing that they said is, "This is no joke."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know, if our firefighters are saying this is no joke, this is really no joke. I thought, is this some kind of stretch class?
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for being here. Can you share for those watching or listening, how can they find out more? And if they want to try a class, where can they go for that? What's the easiest way?
Absolutely. First place you can do is go to our website, which is BODYBAR Pilates /Woodforest, or you can download the app, BODYBAR Pilates Woodforest, and you can facilitate everything online. You can purchase a class, you can sign up for your first free class on the app or on the website, or you can give us a call.
Okay, well, thanks, Jen. That is BODYBAR Pilates in Woodforest. And I want to give thanks again to our sponsor, Roger Stein Chiropractic, 3303 West Davis. And remember, when you all their new patients there, they are given $37 donating back to CASA, which is a great organization. I think, Jen, you know about them as well here in the area. And we will be back on Monday. And be sure to tune into Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com. And then you can listen in on 104.5 and 106.1 FM. And it's also live on Facebook and live on YouTube. So however you consume your media, be sure that you tune in, and we'll see you next time.